Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday morning, guys. I hope you're all feeling good. It's a lot better, isn't it? It's a lot better. It's a lot better. We're feeling a lot better. Man United defeated Manchester City by 2-0 yesterday, courtesy of goals from Bremo and Patrick Dorgu, guys. An easy win for Man United, which could have easily been 5 or 6, guys. And that would have been lovely if that happened, wouldn't it? They do deserve a good hiding, to be honest with you, in regards to Man City. You know, they do deserve one from us, absolutely. But we'll take that. 2-0, as predicted. Guys, I said it before the game. I felt Man United will win the game. I told people not to be so pessimistic. I told people not to get their predictions in with the 4-1 defeats and things like that. You know, yesterday I did say that Man United are going to win the game. I felt confident about that. This has never been Man United's problem, playing the likes of City and that. Yes, we've lost the odd game. Of course we have, at Old Trafford in particular. But what I would say, I always feel confident against Liverpool, against City, against Arsenal, against Chelsea. I always do. And lo and behold, we've beaten Chelsea, we've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Arsenal. We outplayed Arsenal. We didn't beat them, but we outplayed them. And we're unlucky due to an error from the goalkeeper by Ender. This has never been my concern about Man United. This has never been my problem with Man United. My problem with Man United is the Fulhams, is the Bournemouths, is the Wolves, is the Newcastles, the Tottenhams, and this and that. That's my problem with United. I mean, teams are more inclined to play the low block. However, I'm not going to discount the performance yesterday. I felt the performance was phenomenal. I felt there were a lot of individual performances in there that, you know what, were fantastic. But as we know, and as many people with intelligence have pointed out, that these players can turn it on when they like. So I would like to see consistency. I would like to see Man United go on a run of 5, 6, 7 games. You know, unbeaten. I mean, we've done that this season. We went unbeaten for God knows how long, didn't we? We went to 11 games, 2 defeats. But I want to see a performance against Arsenal. And I know it's going to be a difficult game against Arsenal. You don't need to tell me that. They're top of the league for a reason. I know it's going to be a difficult game. I know that. But we've got to go into these games. And then after Arsenal, let's discount the Arsenal game, okay? Let's hope we get a draw. We can win that game, in my opinion, but let's hope we come out of that game unscathed. When we go in against Tottenham and we go in against the other teams, the Villas and the Fulhams of this world, I want to see the same kind of performances. I know it's a different type of game because obviously Man City, they come out and they attack. And Fulham will be more inclined to sit back and play the low block. The low block is what Man United's biggest problem is at the moment. And it has been like that for a few years. We need to learn how to open up spaces and create chances on the low block. And unfortunately, we haven't done that in recent years, you know, and hopefully we can do that in the next games. Arsenal is going to be a completely different game. I wouldn't say it's going to be a rear guard action. I don't think Arsenal as good as people think. They're a very good team, but not as good as people think. I think they've been overly hyped a little bit because the league is so poor. I'll be honest that they're going to win the league at a counter. In my opinion, I don't think Man City are going to catch them. I looked at Man City yesterday, and although they got Semenyo, and although they're going to bring Mark Gui in, I can't see them improving in the way that, you know, would catch Arsenal. I think Arsenal are going to win the league at a counter this season. That's fair play to Arsenal. You have to beat what's in front of you. But I just think that the league is very weak this season. I think that I can't see anyone of a threat. And that confirmed it yesterday. Look, Nottingham Forest drawing against Arsenal. I just think that they'll be one of the worst champions in the history in regards to quality. And that's not a disrespect. That is a fact that I do think they'll be one of the worst champions in Premier League history alongside Leicester and teams like that. You know, but they won the league and that's it. And I've confirmed that. But at the end of the day, our focus is Manchester United. We have to get to there one day. We hope we get there. We hope we get to that summit of the Premier League one day. And if we carry on playing like this, which we've done sometimes, guys, you know, we've done this against Newcastle, you know, we've done this against Liverpool away. We've done this, guys, over and over again, you know, and to be honest with you, and I want to see us do it again and again. Next game. You know, because obviously there is obviously the feeling about the new manager bounce and this and that. Do you know what I mean? And we know that. Do you know what I mean? We know it's a new manager bounce. We know that. We've been here before. We won the T-shirt. We signed, sealed, delivered. Stevie Wonder could see that at the end of the day, guys. Absolutely. So what I would say is that now we need to go into the games against Fulham, the games against obviously Arsenal next week. We got Tottenham coming up as well. Let's go in there. West Ham. West Ham is another game where we notoriously don't do well in recent years. Another one that we have to go in. But anyway, talking about yesterday's game, Absolutely phenomenal performance. Arguably one of the performances of the season. Looking at the team, every single player to a man did very, very well, guys. Some individual performances were exceptional. Some of the same old exceptional performances. Very, very good performance all round. Very impressed with the press. I looked at City, though. You have to be honest. They had a very, very weak defense, in my opinion. We said this before the game, that the defense is very weak. However, we played it very well. And, I felt that Man United could have won 6 or 7-0 in the end, easily. The disallowed goal from Dorgu, the disallowed goal, guys, from Mason Mount was atrocious. Offside for Cunha when Rodri was playing him on. And I found it funny that the VAR didn't pick up Rodri, but they picked up Cunha, but they didn't pick up Rodri. Do you know what I mean? And these little things, you know what I mean? If we lose out on European football by 1 goal, I know it's unlikely, but if we lose out on European football by 1 goal, you'll be looking at these sort of things. Now, there was obviously controversy about Diego Dalot's foul. Obviously, Man City are going crazy at the end of the day. I find it funny. I really do. We have to look at things in context here. It was a bad challenge. I agree. You never go out with studs up. And that is something that Dalot could have cost us dear. Can I be honest? I think he was lucky. I'll be honest with you. He went up studs high up. It's a red in another world, of course. And I'm not going to flip-flop on that because I'm an honest guy. You know what I mean? And Dalot could have cost us yesterday. However, in his favor, I would say I look at it and I think he touched him slightly. He didn't touch him like hard, He touched him slightly. And I think this is how football should be. I think common sense needs to prevail here. I think that those are the rules. What I'm talking about are the rules, right? What happened? Studs up, high up. So what I'm saying is that common sense needs to prevail here. We need common sense. So it was slight. It didn't injure him. The intent wasn't to hurt the player. And it was a slight scratch. And I think this is where we need to show common sense. And I felt that the VAR showed common sense yesterday, guys. Absolutely. However, not common sense was the offside, which would have made it 3-0, which would have made it more emphatic. I know we're being a little bit spoiled here, but it would have made it more emphatic. It would have made it more convincing, and we do need to, give Man City a good hiding, a good slapping up and a good cooking, of course, guys. Absolutely. It's been great this last few hours. I've enjoyed it. I really have. The fact that Man United beat Manchester City in any day is a great thing, of course. And we celebrate these wins. We have to. We're Man United fans. We have to celebrate this win. It's very important, guys. But one thing we should never do, guys, we should never compare things of what happened in the past and this and that and the other, because at the end of the day, Ruben Amorim had these kind of results. Another thing is that we should not forget about the Glazers and the Ineos movement. United is broken was the hashtag over Twitter, and we should not forget about this. We always keep the same energy. I know there's some fans who are going to be overly excited. They get overly excited. They get overly zealous, and then they forget about what's most important. We won the game because of Michael Carrick and those players on the pitch, not because of Ineos and the Glazers, right? So those three musketeers or terrible tears in the tier of the stadium. The pressure needs to be on them. We still need to put the pressure on them. We still need to fight the good fight, and we still need to try and get them out. This is why the protests were on the 1st of February. Now, we don't want the protests being cancelled because that has happened before when we had the spin about Carlos Baleba. Do you remember that? So we don't want that. We still have to keep the energy on Ineos, and we still have to keep the energy on the Glazers. Of course, we're still going to do our part. We're going to support our football club. Unlike the Man-Dem Minions, the Man-Dem Minions don't support their club. They support their narrative and their opinions. And that's the difference with that, of course, guys. So keep the energy on the Glazers. Keep the energy on Ineos, Wilcox, Vivel, Barada, all these folk. And let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep Ineos out. Let's get the Glazers out. Let's get Ineos out. Congratulations to Man United. Fantastic result. Brilliant result. Loved it. Just like old times, guys, when we used to slap at Man City for fun. And I think that is how it should be, guys, at the end of the day. Manchester is red. Manchester will always be red. Right? Let me just tell you that. Manchester never changed from being red. Manchester will never be blue. And I'll tell you why. Because Manchester United put Manchester on the map. No one knew where Manchester was until Manchester United came into the equation. That was it. And no one knew who Manchester City were. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. As famously, that Brazilian player, Robinho, who signed for Manchester City when Man City first got their money. And he said, I thought I was signing for Man United. I didn't know there were 2 clubs in Manchester. There you go. And Manchester will always be red. There's some Matt Busby days. You know, Man City like to think they've got a history. They haven't got a history. They haven't got a history. Their history is not... Manchester United's history is the best in the world. What they've been through, the adversity, 1958, 10 years later, becoming the best team in Europe, despite 1958, winning the league 5 years later, things like that. Even relegation didn't stop Man United becoming what they were. And it's very important that we understand who we are. And this is why we always put the energy on the Glazers and Ineos, and we don't get overwhelmed by a win against Man City, because we've been here before, guys. We won away to Man City last season. You remember? We won 2-1 away to Man City last season. We won away this season to Liverpool. We won at Anfield this season. We've beaten Chelsea this season. We've beaten Newcastle this season. We've beaten Crystal Palace away this season. The one thing we need to understand is the consistency, and we need to start getting consistent and start winning games on the trot, guys. We were getting there. We were always getting there, absolutely. But the Arsenal game obviously is massive. It's a tough game. And I hope Man United could do something against Arsenal. It's going to be a difficult game, but mountains are there to be climbed, guys. Nothing is impossible. We go to Arsenal, we go to the Emirates, we go and get a victory there. Who knows what could happen, guys? We have to be fair. We have to keep our feet on the ground. No singy songs, no nothing like that. We have to be firm. We have to be tough. We have to be resilient as a fan base, because at the end of the day, if we get overly excited, it creates a mentality of we've made it. I know it shouldn't do, but it does create a mentality of we've made it, we've done it, we're there. We're not there, guys. We're not there. And what we need to do is say, okay, great. No singer songs, no carrots at the wheel, none of that business. We have to keep the pressure on. We have to keep... Look, guys, whenever we're successful, let me just tell you an example. Whenever we go on good runs, whenever we have big wins, I guarantee you there's a little bit of energy against the team, a little bit of pressure against the team before that game. More times than not with Manchester United, and not least yesterday against Man City. So we got to keep that. We expect these levels every single week. Every week we want to see these sort of levels. We don't want this, we go and get slapped up against Arsenal 3-0 next week. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that can happen to anyone, I understand, but they're not that good as people think. You know, so we got to go out there and get it, guys. Guys, before you come into the show, please don't forget to smash a like on the video. Don't forget to put your subscriptions on. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well, guys. We're well on our way to 14,000 subscribers. Let's get to 14,000, guys. We need to get to that 14,000 mark, and then we go from there, of course, guys. Let's keep growing the realest Manchester United channel in the land, guys. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is blessed. Good morning, my friend Sanjay. How you doing? Hope you're doing from Valencia. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Big up, Benny. Hope you're good. Good to see you. Manchester red is always, as always, exactly that. Manchester never changed from being red. Lisa, the performance yesterday, let's not get carried away with these players. Only one game. It's not only these players. It's us as fans. We need to keep the pressure on and keep the pressure on the team, keep the pressure on the board, everything. We can't be an easy touch. We got to stop being, you know what I mean, Fred the Red FCs, you know what I mean, Barney FC and all that. Do you know what I mean? We got to be firm, not cultish like, but I say ultra like. Do you know what I mean? Hope we don't repeat the same mistake with Ole. This is the thing. Obviously, there's going to be this narrative that Carrick will be the new Ole. Of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came into Man United as a manager and he won all those games, actually a record-breaking games. It was COVID season, no one in the stadium. We went on that run and then obviously got given a contract. As soon as he got given a contract, the team just dropped like a ton of bricks. I remember that, you know. So this is why we got to learn from these mistakes, right? We got to think on the lines of Real Madrid and these sort of teams. What would they do? What would they do? You know what I mean? At the end of the day. For me, it's still Luis Enrique. For me, still that. However, we have to be realistic here. We have to think about facts here. If Man United, right, qualify for the Champions League, that would mean that Michael Carrick has done a phenomenal job. But Michael Carrick has openly said that he's not interested in taking a full-time role. He wants to be a coach. He wants to manage a smaller team and build his way up. However, it's going to be very difficult not to give Michael Carrick the job if he qualifies for the Champions League, even though Ruben Amorim has set him up nicely. If he goes and beats Arsenal, guys, you know as well as I do that the vibes in the fan base are going to be absolutely on another level. You know what I mean? You know as well as I do. You can't take that away. You won't be able to, because at the end of the day, we go and beat Arsenal. Imagine we go and win 17 in a row, guys. Anyone going to tell me that we're not going to give Michael Carrick the job? If he wins 16, 17 in a row, breaks all record, then obviously he's going to get the job, isn't he? Because that would be ridiculous not to give him it. And but obviously, if we come 7th, if we come 8th, and it's average, we need to move on. And obviously, we need to get Luis Enrique. But absolutely right, Leeson. We as a fan base need to keep the pressure on. We can't be an easy touch, like I said. We can't be overly going over the top. It's one game. We beat Man City before. Look, guys, Ole's beating Man City. Amorim is beating Man City. Ruben Amorim is beating Man City. No, Amorim is beating Man City. Who else is beating Man City? Louis Van Gaal is beating Man City. Jose Mourinho is beating Ole has beaten Man City. They've all beaten Man City. Do you remember that performance when we beat Man City 3-1 when McTominay scored from near the halfway line? We've been there before, haven't we? We've been there before, and you remember the vibes and stuff like that. We've been there before. Ten Hag beat Man City in an FA Cup final. We've been here before. A great performance. We've been here before. You know what I mean? And this is what we're talking about. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer beat Man City more than once. And this is what we have to do. We have to realize that this is a great result. We celebrate result, but we keep the pressure on and we don't overreact. Because look, at the end of the day, Man City will lose these games, but Man City will still come in the top 2. Now, this is the thing, right? They will lose the odd game, just like Man United did back in the day. We would lose to Man City sometimes, even though we were a much better team before Man City got the takeover and all that. We would lose to Man City and things like that. But you know what? We would be top or second at the very worst. You know what I mean? So we got to be where they are, because I'd much rather lose a game like this and be in the top 2 than be where we are, not competing. And ultimately, I hope Man United do compete. Good morning, Ellen. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, Tybo. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, everyone. What a nice way to wake up this morning. Absolutely. Big up yourself. I was surprised by the result, but delighted. I was surprised by the result, but delighted. Very delighted with the result, of course. All we ask is that to give it all. Yeah, exactly. Get in, Sal. Big up, Kerno. What's going on, my friend? Hope we're doing what performance? No need to get carried away, but we are allowed to be happy. Exactly that. You get happy, but what I practice is something called cautious optimism. So because we've been here before, it's not like we haven't been here before, because we have. We won an FA Cup final against Man City, for crying out loud. Do you know what I mean? And doesn't get much bigger than that. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to be, okay, that's a good performance. I like it. Now, let's hope this is the turning point. Let's hope we can go to Arsenal next week and exert ourselves to the way that we know we can. And you know what? If we get a win against Arsenal, I know I'm not putting that pressure. I'm not saying that Man United must beat Arsenal, because it's a very difficult game. I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? It is a difficult game. If we come out of that game undefeated, we go and beat Tottenham, we beat Fulham, whatever, and then you're going to start thinking, okay, this is more like it. We have to keep that on, though. Man United, and we have to be consistent. We have to be consistent for more than a week. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we were getting an element of consistency this season under Amorim. Obviously, we were 11 games, 2 defeats and stuff like that. Just weren't getting those wins and weren't putting the ball in the back of the net. Hopefully, we can change that narrative, and we can do it, of course. So big up, fan. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. This just confirms the players at United can do whatever they want and whenever they want it, because nobody can tell me that they didn't put in such an effort with Amorim. They've dominated games with Amorim. They've dominated games against, obviously, Liverpool and Chelsea and Newcastle. Newcastle, we absolutely swept the floor with them. We've done that all season. The only problem is we missed a lot of chances. Yesterday, there was something a little bit different, I would say, when I'm analysing the game. I felt like we were a longer period of the game. We were comfortable. We weren't in any way under any threat. There was a couple of chances for Man City, maybe a header at the end where Sandy Lamens gave away a corner, and maybe the header. But I never felt that Man City were going to get into that game. I never felt that Man City were going to get back. It's the first time, I'll be honest, guys, and I'm going to be honest with this, that I sat back and I felt, this is easy. No, I have to look at it in context. I always do with Man United and other teams. I look at it in context and I look at, well, you know what? They did have a weakened defense, but you can only beat what's in front of you at the end of the day. We had players out too. We've had players out for a while. Now, it goes to show you that, these players they have got the ability. They can do things like this on any given day. My biggest concern about Man United, and this is coming up very, very soon, is when we have to play against the low block. When we play against the Fulhams, the Bournemouths, the Wolves, these teams, even Newcastle to an extent, Tottenham to an extent. Look, West Ham went to Tottenham yesterday and won. West Ham is another one. We need to learn how to beat the teams that we're expected to win against. Do you know what I mean? Like yesterday, I went on streams, obviously went on Mo's channel, went on everything. Everyone's saying we're going to get slapped up. People are telling me, do you really think that Man United are going to win this game? Hell yeah, I think Man United are going to win this game because we win these games. These are not the problems. I've been saying it for, I sound like a broken record. I've been watching Man United very, very long time, 40 years. At the end of the day, look, I sound like a broken record because I knew that we'll win the game. I said we'll win 3-1. We won by 2 goals, just like 3-1. So I said we'll win the game, and I said we win the game comfortably. We should have won the game 5 or 6 or 7 even. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Big up Tyborg. 16 cup finals now left 48 points to play for, at least to get us into Europe next season. If we win 48 points, Penny, which would be incredible, by the way. I think that's got to be some kind of record. If we get that many points, right, even if we get 40 or 37, something like that, it will be a phenomenal achievement. If Man United qualify for the Champions League, it will be a phenomenal achievement. And you never know. You never know, guys. And we've had a hard start to the season. We've got to go to Newcastle. We've got Arsenal coming up away next week as well. We've got Villa coming up as well, guys. We've got a few games to negotiate. Liverpool at home. We've got that to negotiate as well. We've got a few games to go. And you know what? We've got a lot to play for, of course. Wesley, big up yourself. Hope you're doing good morning. Hope you're doing well. I'm very well. Thank you this morning. Thank you so much. Am I the only one that's seen the match several times? You are probably not, but yeah, good for you. I haven't got time to watch it more than once, unfortunately. Colonel, they didn't buy into Amram's system. The lineup yesterday played to all the players' individual strengths. I don't think it was the system, mate. It was nothing to do with system because we beat Man City with that system, 2-1 away at the Etihad. We beat Liverpool 2-1 at the Anfield with that system. We beat Chelsea with that system. We beat Newcastle with that system. We beat Crystal Palace away with that system. We've done that. It's nothing to do with systems. We played like this all season. We just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. That's nothing to do with systems, right? It's nothing to do with the system. These players can switch it on whenever they want. And that is what they've proven to us. It's nothing to do with system. System is just a thing to beat Ruben Amorim with at the end of the day. System, schmistem. There were times we had 3 at the back yesterday, by the way. If you watch the game, analyze it properly. Juju, justice for Amorim. Big up, Juju. Hope you're well. Irfan, the first time in a long time my call to win City came to fruition. I hope it is not the same old winning City and struggling against the Saudi. Exactly that. This is where we have to change the narrative, isn't it? Wesley, Sal, great win for us yesterday. Maybe we can go on a great run from now in. Just imagine we win 12 in a row or go on to win the league. No. Because that would mean Arsenal would have to drop a lot of points as well. If we win the league, guys, I will shave off my hair and my eyebrows. It's not going to happen. It's over. Even me, as one of the most positive guys in the world, we got 7. Wait, how many points away from top? Arsenal got to lose a lot of games as well. Tiber, but let's just hope they put in such a performance from now on. I don't care who is the manager or who starts, as long as we play football like yesterday. Exactly that, Tyborg. Spot on. Can't say it any better than that, man. Absolutely. Irfan. Dorga is like Bruno. They can be exceptional at times, but always make that silly mistake that make those missed marbles. Dalot. You've got to look at Dalot before you look at them. Let's not forget Glenios out. Absolutely. Big up yourself. Totally agree with you. United is broken, but we need to be allowed to feel great after the performance. That is what football is about. It is. But we can't be soft little teddy bears either. We got to keep the pressure on. It's not just about football. It's about the future of our football club. It's not just about Man City. Yesterday on the 17th of January, 2026. Man United are around before that game, and Man United will be around long after that game. And we got to think about the future and plant the seeds for a better future for our football club. And that is getting Glazers and Ineos out. Let's not forget. Rajat, 2-0. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I watched the game yesterday, Rajat. You do. Great game, great performance. We all needed that, but keep your foot on the gas for the Glazers out. Absolutely, William. Spot on. We got to keep that energy up. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Arsenal got away with far too many times. It was not a VAR. All the calls from the referee goes in their favour. I think the boys can't wait to play them. I think Arsenal, subject to popular belief in regards to some of the content creators out there who think Arsenal are hard done by every single game because they're secret Arsenal fans. What I would say is that Arsenal have been lucky this season many, many times. They have been. However, I'm not going to take the shine from Arsenal because you make your own luck in football. And if you carry on getting good results and you get that positive energy about you and things just go your way, but you have to play the right way. And Arsenal play good football regardless. However, I think they'll be one of the worst champions in Premier League history. That's a fact. I haven't seen all of them, right? I think they'll be the worst champions in Premier League history. Forget about points. Forget about this. Forget about that XG. They would be, because in my opinion, guys. Rajat, Bremo and Ahmed were cooking that Man City defense Carrick had with a great plan, and they able to execute. Big up, Rajat. I'm waiting for Scholes and Butt's apology today, Mr. Scott. I mean, I would like them to have an apology to Licha Martinez. It was disgraceful anyway for them to say something like that, considering before the game that Licha Martinez has gone 5 games without conceding a goal against Haaland, including the FA Cup final, where he just completely put Haaland in his pocket. I don't understand the narrative behind this. I think they're just splurting out any garbage just to have sensationalist headlines. I don't know. I said it yesterday. I would have much preferred Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt to just be quiet. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, even though I love them as players, Paul Scholes is still one of the greatest players in history. But as a pundit, terrible. Benny, I can see us getting a result for us, but as you say, Sal, the Fulham Wolves test harms. Yeah, exactly that. When Wolves go 10 at the back, they go like that and they play the low block, that's when I have a problem with it. Do you know what I mean? When we get to 60, 70 minutes and we haven't broken the deadlock and it's 0-0 and then Wolves get a free kick 35 yards out, that's the problems I have. Do you know what I mean? I've seen this story before. I've seen this movie before, and we have to keep our feet on the ground. And we have to learn how to play against the low block, because even when I was growing up, Man United played against the low block every single game because we were the champions, we were the best in the world. And we had to know how to break up a low block. And we did very easily, to be honest with you. And we need to learn how to do that, of course. I think Button, Scholes enjoy United playing bad, and Gary Neville kind of trying to protect their legacy, because there's no way that you troll a young class player. To me, it is a clear agenda. It's agenda. I don't think it affects their legacy. Their legacy will never be touched, Irfan. How would their legacy be touched? They won a treble. They won Paul Scholes has won 11 titles. He doesn't need to worry about Licha Martinez. The thing is, the reason they're doing this, it's not because of legacy. It's not because they're frightened that their reputation is going to be taken away, because it never will. It will never will. Man United in 100 years, their legacy will never be taken away. The reason they're doing this is because it gets clicks, it gets likes, it gets, just like it has been. It's been all over the internet. And I think they're encouraged to do that. And all these channels that they're running, they're run by Sky. They're run by these companies who don't really like Man United. So they know that when you come out with a controversial opinion about Man United, like they have done this week, they know that it's going to go viral. They know that at the end of the day. This is why they do it. My biggest anger about this whole thing with Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt, he's doing it in front of a Leeds United fan, and it's like they're bantering Man United. Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, Nicky Butt, all these legends of the football club, playing wise, legacy will never be tarnished. It will never be tarnished. They will always be world-class players. But cut that off from their punditry. They need to stop bowing down to the media narrative. They need to stop saying things like what they said, because last week they said they never criticized Ruben Amorim and they will never say something insulting about anyone at Man United. Lo and behold, they did. And that was insulting. And thank God we saw Licha Martinez yesterday like this. So he knows. And thank you, Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes, for giving Licha Martinez a reason, if he needed one, to absolutely put Haaland in his pocket. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, fan. Tyborg. The 3 disallowed goals were more onside than Wirt's goal against Fulham. Exactly. Double standards are so obvious and it's really annoying. Exactly that. Look, there's no doubt the third goal in particular, which should have been 3-0 for Man United when Mason Mount put it in the back of the net, was onside. What I found very, very worrying is the fact that they looked at the offside, but they didn't look at Rodri, who was playing in way onside. They looked at just the man directly beside him. And that's where I think is a big problem. Because at the end of the day, he was way onside for that. I didn't even look at it. I looked at it with my naked eye. I could see he was onside. You know what I mean? Absolute disgraceful decision. Should have been 3-0. Could have been 4 or 5-0, you know. But we take the 2-0. We appreciate that. We move on. But obviously, when Man United win, Man United have to always win well like that. Because we're always going to have the referee against us. That referee was against us, right? I know they're going to throw, but Dalot should have been sent off and all that. That can go either way. You know, let's not forget who was Dalot a couple of weeks ago was strangled by Semenyo when he was playing for Bournemouth and nothing happened. Let's not forget that, right? Let's not forget that things like that happen all the time. You know what I mean? When Man United are concerned. Yeah, Fulham game will be tougher. It will be tougher. I'm guarantee you. If Carrick does well, they might give him the job 100%. He has to do extremely well for me. He has to do well at a level where it's like, wow. He has to wow me. And that includes winning at Arsenal and things like that. Because at the end of the day, Tyborg, we've been here before, haven't we? We've been here with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we can't make that mistake again. If he wows me, if I go, wow, this is incredible, I can't believe what's going on, and we're all happy and excited, and we're singing songs, you know what I mean? And I have no eyebrows and hair left because I told her I'll save it off. You know, guys, it'll be absolutely brilliant. And we'll say, you can't not give it to him. I know that. I know it's bad, but if we go 15 games, 14 games, even 13 games, winning out of the 17, 16 games, you're going to have to say, well, you know what? He's actually a decent manager because, you know, we've got some tough games coming up. Like I said, we've got to go to Arsenal. Like I said, guys, we've got Liverpool coming up at Old Trafford. We've got to go to St. James's Park, which is always difficult, of course. So we got to negotiate all these games. Aston Villa at home. And if we come out of them unscathed and he's doing so well, it's going to be very difficult for Ineos, and it's going to be difficult for Jim to make a decision. The pressure beyond, but that's why they get pay the big bucks, isn't it? You know what I mean? They can't make any more mistakes. They made enough mistakes as it is. So they got to make sure they get it right. Mount got robbed. Absolutely. He did get robbed. He did. Big up my friend, Max. How you doing, my friend? Sal, any news on the secret midfielder? I honestly expected the worst, and I'm super happy to be wrong. Now we have to wait and see how we do with the low block. Exactly that, Max. Let me bring in a little bit of transfer news in regards to Man United. Man United have reiterated or resurfaced, whatever you want to say, guys. Their interest in Angelo Stiller, of course, the Stuttgart midfielder, has been high on Manchester United's list for the last year or so. Guys, first mentioned on Stretford Post, of course. But Manchester United are preparing a bid for the Stuttgart in Germany international, guys. Now, this could be the secret midfielder that we're talking about. I don't think so. I think, you know what, it's not even Ruben. It starts with Ruben, but it's not Ruben Neves. It's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. There you go. But at the end of the day, if it is Angelo Stiller, fantastic. We're going to have to wait and see. But the rumor is it's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I said it on here before anyone said it, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. But Man United are preparing a bid, what I'm hearing over here, for Angelo Stiller. Angelo Stiller to Manchester United will be great. Of course, we spoke about Angelo Stiller many times. Of course, he's wanted by Real Madrid and stuff like that. Of course, he is. You know what I mean? So, yeah, look, that would be a great signing for Man United. He is a great player. And Man United do need midfield players. You saw yesterday, in regards to Casemiro, he looked knackered, didn't he, at the end of the day? Irfan, I thought Mount looked good. Goal looked more onside. It was more onside, not offside. It was proven. Eric Ten Hag beat Man City for FA Cup final. Exactly, Rajat. The team was leaked by Locals 2 hours before the game. We are backed by leaking team news and dressing room rumors. It's annoying. Why? Who is this coming from? That's what we need to know. Who is this coming from? Rajat, hope this performance doesn't drop versus Arsenal. I don't think it will drop against Arsenal, Rajat. The concern I have, I think the performance will drop against Fulham. That's the concern I have. I think that's where the performances will drop. We are going to beat Arsenal, says Kenny. Come on, man. I hope so, Kenny. We need one, man. We need an Arsenal win. We need a Man United win against Arsenal. Last night, Forest outfought and outplayed Arsenal, to be honest. And then they're crying about a penalty. Some secret Arsenal fans are crying about penalties. At madness, isn't it? 1-1, says Raja. I would love to win that game. Please, Man United, win that game. Please, out of every game this season, please win against Arsenal. Dave, there's something I've seen at the stadium and online. Let's stop this as a fan base. People are waiting for us to win or lose to tell other. I said that yesterday. Should back the club and get into Europe. This is the problem in the fan base, Dave. This is something that I've been talking about for a long time. This is something I was trying to delete from the football club. Hold that. I told you so. Syndrome, which is not going to help anyone here. Because at the end of the day, next week we lose against Arsenal. We can go, I told you, hold that. We're never going to win. It's going to go back and forth, isn't it? It's going to go back and forth. So what we have to do as a collective, aim for one goal. We're all in the same boat. That boat is heading towards a successful Man United. That's what we're aiming for, a successful Man United. And that is what we're aiming for, guys. We're on that same boat. You know, unfortunately, there are some people out there who just want to spread division, who want to just say that I'm right. They're the oracle. Okay, they're the oracle. Predict next week's score for us then. We're human beings. There's no hold that at the end of the day. There could be someone in the lower divisions in the National League that can win Man United a treble. We don't know, do we? At the end of the day, people just need to calm down, act human, and say that, you know what, Man United are not back. Man United haven't been back. And until we're back, we can't say anything. But however, when we are back, we're happy. And that's how we should be. We shouldn't be saying, when I was growing up watching Man United, we never had Man United fans against Man United fans saying, hold that we used to celebrate together. That's what we used to do. Nowadays, it's more like, I'm right, you're wrong, blah, 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 nonsense. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. And this is what has come from the Man Dem Millions, guys. I called it the Man Dem Millions for a reason. I agree with you, Sal. I'm nervous when we go to the low block, when we go into a low block. When we play against low block, it's terrible. I'm kind of surprised they kept a clean sheet because Donnarumma is great. Donnarumma is the best goalkeeper in the world. I've said it many, many times. He saved them from an absolute annihilation yesterday. Let's not forget that. Raja, centre-backs were both inexperienced and young, to be fair. Yes, we have to give them that, but we can only play who's in front of us. Yesterday was the first time in a long time we didn't go through the 15, 20 minutes. We fell asleep and gave the ball away cheaply. I would say that let's wait and see. Let's wait and see because we've done this kind of performance before. You know, I remember it. I remember it under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Ten Hag. And let's wait and see. Midfielders really compared what I've kind of called it out for. Carrot literally adopted it. He's a midfielder though, isn't he? He used to be a midfielder, so he obviously gets it. Minuscule of changes in Pep's system. Pep didn't even know what to do and kept. I think Pep has finished at Man City. I do. I think something's happened to Pep. I don't know what's going on. However, he's top two. He's top two. Guys, look, this is the thing. Pep may lose these odd games, but he will get in the top two every season. And that's where we have to be, in the top two. We have to aim at, no matter what, we get the odd result. We might get slapped up there. We might lose 6-3 to Southampton, 5-0 to Newcastle, but we'll be in the top two. Don't worry about that at the end of the season. Don't forget about those isolated results. Alex Ferguson said it when he was managing Man United. You know what? It's great. It's great getting these results and all that. If we lose that game, okay, it's not ideal, but as long as we're at the top of the league at the end of the season, who cares? When Man United win the league, no one cared about. Like Newcastle beat Man United 5-0 at St James's Park once when it was unheard of back then. And we lost 6-3 the week before. And you know what? People are like, oh, Man United are finishing that. But at the end of the day, when the season comes, at the end of the season, we're lifting that trophy. No one cares. We won the trophy. You didn't. That's why we can sing about it. Benny, Sal, I'd settle for 40 points out of what I'd play for. That would be incredible. Absolutely. Big up, Benny, my guy. Ellen, one thing about that we always win against expected stronger opponents, but it is the way we won yesterday. It was outstanding from start to end, and that is something I haven't seen for years. You didn't watch the Man United against Man City game under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when beating them 3-1. You didn't watch the game last season away to Man City 2-1. You didn't watch the win against Newcastle this season when we absolutely dominated from start to finish. Come on, let's not revisit. Light switch FC, like Matt said. Exactly that. Flick on when they want FC. Exactly. Do you agree Hansi Flick is a great manager? Great is a big statement. I think he's a good manager. However, I think he has one style of play. And I think his style of play would be flawed in the Premier League. I think that he's too attacking sometimes. I think he's a little bit naive sometimes, in my opinion. I think he's a good manager. I like him, right? I like him better than Nagelsmann, for example. I like Hansi Flick better, but Hansi Flick's at Barcelona. He's not going to leave Barcelona, guys, absolutely. Afad, let's not forget again, we beat Man City with that system. We beat Liverpool with that system. We beat Crystal Palace with that system. We beat Chelsea with that system. We beat Newcastle with that system. It's not the system, mate. Let's leave that out because fullbacks still go forward. In fact, they have to run further forward. It's a lot to ask to go from fullback all the way to the forward line. You know, it's a lot more. Would you like to see you balls out? Yeah, you wouldn't. Trust me, it's very scary, fan. It's very scary, fan. Absolutely. For that sake, Dorga is still a kid. He is a monster. I believe in him. He is the future. Absolutely. Guys, absolutely. Dan, what's going on? Morning, Dan. Hope you doing. Mo showed it's the players' mentality, not the manager. We look like a title-winning team. Exactly that. And how many times, Dan, have we looked like a title-winning team over the years? Exactly that. You know, at the end of the day, there you go. I like him playing further up as well. Good squad. Good to have in the squad, guys. Absolutely. Guys. Kenny, these players have proved once again that in big games, they are up for it. This is exactly the point, isn't it? This is exactly the narrative. Exactly. But decent teams like decent teams like Fulham or even relegation teams, they just mentally fall apart. This is what I'm talking about. Ruben Amorim has beaten Man City. Ruben Amorim has beaten everyone there is to beat in 14 months. What we have to understand is that when we play against the Bournemouths, the Wolves, the West Hams, the Fulhams, this is when they ultimately, and I said it under Ruben Amorim as well, I won't flip-flop from it. I said it under Ruben Amorim. I'm happy we beat Liverpool away. I'm glad we beat Liverpool away. I'm happy we beat Chelsea. I'm glad we beat Chelsea. But I want to see how we play against Bournemouth. I want to see how we play against Wolves. I said it under Ruben Amorim. I'm going to say Eric. I'm not going to get overly excited and you know what, getting all happy and fluffy clouds and all that because I know what goes on. I know Light Switch FC, you guys have said it. Light Switch FC. I want to see Man United do it consistently every single week against low block, against high block, against mid block, whatever. I want to see Man United doing this every single week because I've seen this story before, this Netflix series before. Man United are deja vu FC, guys. I've seen it. Now they have to do it week in, week out. The Arsenal game, I'm going to give them a bye. I know it's a difficult game against Arsenal. Anyone can lose to Arsenal at any given moment. If we come out of that game undefeated, let's not forget, Ruben Amorim went to Arsenal last season with 10 men and won on penalties and knocked them out of the FA Cup. If we can come out of that game next week and win that game, you know what I mean? Then, oh man, you never know. I agree that now that you mention it, Arsenal will be the worst winners of the Premier League. There's no doubt about it. Alongside Leicester City, in my opinion, even though I think Leicester City played a lot better football than them, in my opinion. Hold that, Shitty. Big up, Roy. Hope you're well. Rajat. And then the thing is, Roy, what was your score yesterday? I forgot to ask you, mate. And then is that Arsenal won't give this kind of open space so much more solid defensively than Man City. Agreed. Arsenal are very good. The one thing about Arsenal, which is one in the league, is their defense. That's it. You know, their defense. Defense wins you leagues. Alex Ferguson said it. Attack wins you games. Defense wins you titles. You know, and that's where you go. I can see I can see that with low block, we now have the wired men putting in the ball in. Hopefully, Bruno high up can break lines. I really see Sesko benefiting and showing a stronger upward trajectory. Let's hope so, Afad. Absolutely, let's hope so. Arsenal are fantastic, says Marquez. Yeah, they're not. Definitely not. They're good, but not fantastic. But and Scholes playing lip service and pondering the corporate and commercial narrative. Exactly that, Afed. You said it there. Corporate narrative. The media, social media, all narrative. We need Scolesy, come here. We need clicks. We need likes. It's money. Just make sure you say something controversial. You know, you go viral, mate. You know, puppet on a string. You know, Neville and Keane have some weird opinion. I think Keane's all right. But one thing about Roy Keane needs to call out the owners more. Roy Keane doesn't call out the owners. I needs to call out the owners. Glazers out, Ineos out all day long. Need to call out the owners, and we need to fight the real fight. Of course, Dave. Also, this is why I've always been questioning the people that said to play Bruno deep. See what he does when he plays up front. Exactly. With Bruno, either play him up front or bench him. Exactly that, Dave. Along as Stretford Post and some of this great community been talking about Bruno playing number 10. How many times have we said it? And people say, no, he plays well, number 10, How many times have we said Bruno is a number 10? Bruno is one of the best number 10s in the world. But, however, I would say this, guys, very, very firmly, right? We need to move on from Bruno eventually. He's 31. We need to look at replacing him. Who can place him? Kenan Yildiz. Go and get Kenan Yildiz from Juventus, and we can slowly drift out Bruno. Keep Bruno in the team, and then slowly rotate. This is what winning teams do. They plan for the future. We got a great player, world-class player, Bruno, as a number 10. But who's going to replace him? How are we going to replace him? And this is what we have to say. Of course, I hope Shea Lacey comes good. Honestly, I hope Shea Lacey comes good and he becomes a fantastic player. I hope so. I really do. But we need to plan for the future. Kenan Yildiz, players like that. Keith Schmidt, players like that. You know what I mean? Coming through the ranks and stuff like that. Let's go and organize. Let's go and prepare. Let's go and do the groundwork and getting those deals done so that we can have a future. Not saying sell Bruno. Not saying get rid of him now. He needs to leave. Not saying that. What I'm saying is that this is great and Bruno is great. But what we need to do is slowly move on to the future. Do you know what I mean? Bruno's 31. Even the commentators said that when Mount made his run, they said that he was 100% behind the ball. Yeah, he was. Exactly. Fun fact. Giggs goals, Gary Neville, Dennis Owen and Roy Keane have more Premier League titles than City title history. Exactly. Exactly that. Let's keep that energy, Roy. Ahmad actually surprised me. I must say he is growing into... he's surprised me as well. Look, guys, what I would say about criticism. I think criticism, as long as it's constructive, as long as it's healthy, is very important in life. Some people think you can't criticize players because we see what we see game by game. You can only analyze things by what you see and what we've seen from game to game. That doesn't mean that in the future that they're not going to be world-class world-beaters. I used to see Ronaldo do step-overs, 1,000 step-overs, and not get the ball to Ruud van Nistelrooy. And Ruud van Nistelrooy used to scream and shout at Ronaldo. But you know what? We criticized him then and we say, oh, he's got to do better. He's got to get the final ball. That is constructive criticism. If you can't have constructive criticism, how are we going to improve? And this is exactly what everyone has to say. Our man needs to improve. Our man is not the finished product yet, you know, but he's getting better. The same with Dorgu. I said it at the beginning of the season. Listen, guys, he's only 20 years old. Beckham was at Preston North End at 20. You've got to be careful how you criticize young players. I've said this from the beginning. And people don't understand this at the end of the day. They think that, oh, you're just shouting at the player. You know, you don't know, hold that, this, that. You know, these people are stupid because they don't understand that criticism comes from a place of love. It doesn't come from a place of hate. People got to stop thinking like this snowflake mentality that, you know what, criticism is bad. You know, we want these players to reach the pinnacle of their careers at Manchester United. We want them to absolutely become world-class players, Ballon d'Or winners. That's what we want in our football team at the end of the day. You know, aim for the stars, land on the moon. Aim for the moon, land on the clouds. Aim for the clouds, land on the mud. But I feel a little kudos to Ineos for the Carrick appointment. No, mate, I don't feel no kudos towards them, mate. No, mate, no. Afad, you've really ruined your reputation there, mate. Honest to God, Carrick was a no-brainer, mate. Anyway, it was a Carrick or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. No, mate. Anyone who praises Ineos for what they've done to this football club in this last, oh my goodness me. The city is yours. The city is yours. Absolutely. How many empty seats? Man City have to put extra high advertising boarding to hide the front row seats. That's what they do. Have a look. Have a look, Dave. Can't wait till Mazraoui comes back. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up my friend, Black Sheep 19. When Liverpool were given a goal and was clearly offside, VAR said 5% allowance. Moving the goalposts, FC. Yep. Where was that for Bruno and Cunha? Exactly. And Cunha wasn't even offside. Corruption against United. Disgusting. Man United, Black Sheep, my guy, 19. Big up yourself. Welcome to the stream. Man United, right? Man United have to fight the referees as well as the opposition football team. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Man United fan. People don't want to see this, but this has been going on for months and months and months. Man United are the most hard done by team in the world. We get the worst decisions in the world out of any team in the world, out of all the major leagues. Renee, so by season's end, if Carrick has more points and then every side, does he qualify him? No. He needs to do something miraculous for me. Honestly, I'm honestly, I'm putting my standards higher now. He needs to do something miraculous. We can't make the same mistake we made against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer semi did something miraculous. He did, and he won how many games in a row? And his away record phenomenal. And then as soon as he signed that contract, I don't know, guys. I feel weird about it. But what's interesting is that when Carrick went into his press conference, they didn't call Carrick the interim. That's one thing about it, right? Maybe that's a thing just to not give the players a full sense of security. I don't know, but yeah, very high IQ. Big up, Raja. Big up my guy. Stiller facts are off the hook. Highest number of balls played into the third half and in the box would be a very good complimentary purchase. Absolutely. Sal, we finally got the new manager's bounce. It felt like a good old days at Old Trafford yesterday for Real Fortress. Those players need to stop mugging off the club and enjoy being Man United players. Absolutely. I think what it is, though, what I would say, Dan, is the fact that maybe these players just don't have the ability to play against low block. Maybe they can play against the high block. They can't play against the low block. Maybe it's just an ability thing, mental thing, ability thing. We need to change the narrative regardless anyway, guys, of course. Black Sheep. First midfielder we need is to get Anderson. I mean, yeah, lots of talk about him going to Man City, of course. If we get the Champions League, I'd hope he picks us over City. Though City are losing the groundwork already for him like a well-run club does. Yep. Forget about what we done yesterday. They're already moving on. You know, this is the thing. They're already buying new players. They've already got Gui. They're going to improve defensively. You know, Gui's a great player. Then they've obviously got Semenyo. If they start bringing in Anderson and that, we might as well, like, guys, this is the thing. We got to move quickly. You want Angelo Stiller, go and get Angelo Stiller. Do you know what I mean? You know, move quickly. Go and get these players. You know, but they've got to do that. Leacher picked up Haaland and Song Lullaby. You know, guys, Leacher picked up Haaland and sang a lullaby in front of Scholes. You know, Carrick didn't even have a week because it's called a new manager bout or us to see. I don't know if you heard of it. Tyborg, we won the big games before, but this yesterday feels a bit different. We're not just won, but we dominated City. We dominated before. We've dominated City before. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we've been here. City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea hate playing us because we have had history over them, and that always transfer. Let's not get overexcited about this. This is the thing. We're like little pillows sometimes. We are. We go over the top and like, oh my God, this is something I've never seen before. Calm down, because at the end of the day, those players will hear that. They get relaxed. We've got to keep the pressure on. Absolutely. Sal, do you think Carrick is mentoring Sesko like he did with those strikers in Middlesbrough? I hope so. Sesko's going to play a good big role in this season, of course. Absolutely. Bernard, morning buzzing about Derby yesterday after the Glenius comments yesterday. Surely rules him out of the running for the job. Seeing a new trend in management, calling out the owners. Finally, absolutely. No to Glazers, absolutely. Speaking about Arsenal, would be hilarious if they lose the league this season. It would be a game changer for them. I don't think they'll ever win the league if they don't win it this season. Whoever dropped the pick on X where Lisandro Carey, captain player Haaland, deserves a big amount of applause. Absolutely. Dabizas, we should add a few more cash and Bruno plus money for Yildiz. I agree. Keenan is utilised by Juve manager as left winger, and he can play attacking midfielder and up front as well. Rajat. We like Lennart Carl, someone like that. Okay. No, Keenan is better. Just curious, where are the VAR headquarters in England? Is it London? Probably, yes. FA is in London, Soho Square. All will depend on who is the next manager is. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Morning, Marcus. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Guys, absolutely. Cricket is more advanced, isn't it, Dabbies? As cricket, of course, is been there for years. Their technology is incredible. Shakti, I just don't like Arsenal. Hope they don't win the league. I hope so as well, Shakti. I don't like them either, but then again, we got Man City behind them. What can we do? You know what I mean? Dan, Sal, thing concerned me about the team yesterday. We need to know how to get the best out of our classy striker Sesko to complement our team fully. I mean, he will be. He didn't play though, did he? You know what I mean? Guys, never come in there and praise the ball that fad. It's the wrong thing to do on Stretford Post. They're ruining this football club. It's vanity project. Had nothing to do with them. It's ages we have not played like. I mean, I care about Man United. I don't care about one-off results. It's ages we have to not play like a team. Yesterday we played with domination and spirit. And we played like that a while. We played like that against Liverpool. We played like that against Chelsea. We played like that against Crystal Palace away. We played like that a few times. It's about consistency, Irene. People just refusing to see it because they had this narrative about Amram and that, and they don't want to see that. Let's wait and see, guys. Let's keep our feet on the ground. That referee is not beating the allegations of being a City fan. We had to fight him. Thank you for big up Ephraim. Thank you. Thank you, Ephraim. Thank you so much, guys. Guys, absolutely. Big up everyone in the stream, of course. So low block teams probably be there. Yeah. Low block team. Big up, Darren. What's going on, my friend? Was Haaland on the pitch? I said, didn't see him, mate. I was calling out a search party. Absolutely. Andy Taylor always does badly against Man United. He always scums it out. Yeah, absolutely. I've actually want Villa to win a league. I mean, that would be amazing. Actually, but I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, it would be amazing if Villa managed to come and win the league. Yeah, I mean, that is the best scenario. Of course, they're the closest. I would love that. Doubt it's going to happen, unfortunately. We're going to get someone we don't want to win the league, sadly. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me on this show. Big up everyone, of course, you absolute legends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. Guys, great result. We move on to the Arsenal game next week. Can't wait now. Excited. Let's see what we do, guys. Obviously, it's going to be a difficult game, but it's a good start, and that's what we have to say. But I urge people to keep the energy on Ineos, to keep the energy on the Glazers. Let's not forget. Let's not say kudos to the Ineos and then that. Kudos what? Kudos what? Yeah, I'm wasting 100 million. You know what I mean? Making wrong decisions. You know, not being patient with Amarim. Look, guys, we need to obviously we need to be tough, and we need to be a fortress as a fan base. You know what I mean? That's what we need to be. We need to be ultra-like. You know what I'm saying? And not too soft, not too much of a soft touch. That's what we need to be, guys. Absolutely. And that is the only way we're going to move forward. Stop being bloody so flip-flop in regards to it and being so easily pleased. All right? That is what it's all about. Glory going Man United. We move on to Arsenal. That's what it's at. We owe Arsenal one. We do. Arsenal are celebrating because we beat against Man City, but not knowing that we're going to smash them up next week. Let's go, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you later on, of course. I've got the AFCON final later on today as well, guys. Don't forget to join me for that. If you guys can join me for the AFCON final, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Guys, don't forget to join me for that. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy it, guys. Luis Enrique, hopefully that will happen. Have a brilliant day. See you later on. Enjoy it. See you soon. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. Peace.